it just really gave me a life that I don't know that would have been possible through anything else. And so
Right.
music really found me just through the music appreciation. But when I started working with sacred tones and vocal chanting and breath work, I started really connecting with myself in a different way. And I started noticing about 4 months in, and definitely at 6 months, a very dramatic change in the way I put things together, the way I could retain information. And,
Wow.
within a year and a half, I would say that the dyslexia that I struggled with before was pretty much non-existent.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really huge. And then the second thing I think that has been huge help with sound and meditation is anxiety. I
Okay.
had pretty severe anxiety when I was in my early 20s to mid 20s. I had
Right.
such severe anxiety that I wouldn't leave my house. I didn't really want to play music in front of people anymore because I was too scared to get on stage. I would have heart palpitations and anxiety attacks. Like, it was just a really
Depressing.
frustrating time. Yeah.
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 And so, two of the frequencies that really helped me the most and learning about that after that was 174 hertz and
Okay.
528.
Okay.
So every once in a while, like when I'm really stressed out, trying to do too much, pushing myself and not doing the things that I know to take care of myself, these things will creep in every once in a while. I'll have like an anxiety attack or something to deal with. It's not anywhere near what it used to be.
Yeah.
But I find if I just put my headphones on and put that frequency on, as soon as it starts, within 2 minutes, it's gone. And, it's like the way other people take medicine. I've started using the tones and frequencies in that
Hmm.
way. And it has
Hmm.
been my frequency medicine,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been two of the most noticeable for me that I've seen that has been
Brilliant.
a really dramatic impact.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Wonderful. Do we have any questions for Ian so far about anything here? This is great, man.
That's great. Ian, I'd love to know, have you ever done voice yourself? Have you ever worked,
So on the CDs, like all the vocals that are on there are my vocals, like the monk chants to the like singing and melody. So that's kind of the extent I've got into it. But in the future, I'm working on some projects with different people that are just vocals only, like CDs. So it's something I'm going to get into more, but I've dabbled in it on the CDs. There's some vocal chants and some monk chants and guttural chants, on there. And sometimes they're melody based and sometimes they're vowels based, and I like to experiment with things like doing all together with 3 different voices doing it together simultaneously. And just a lot of different things like that I like to experiment with. So a little bit, but not primarily focused on that.
Yeah. Well, the vocals for the that's a great question, Patricia. The vocals for on the Monks track is extraordinary. I mean, that blew my mind when you told me that. It's really, really well done.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Really?
Which CD is that one on?
Their Sleepy Solfeggio CD is all chanting pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can get that on the Listening to Smile, the number 1. So listeningtosmile1.bandcamp.com.
Cool.
Yeah, it sounds like you're in a Tibetan monastery. I mean, it's utterly convincing. So Ian's got no limits as far as his music is concerned. As far as I can tell, right, Sarah?
I love it.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, man. Well, we're cruising along here. Do you want to play us a little something?
Yeah. So a lot of times, so the one I'm going to play is called "In the Mystery I Found You," and so this is a 528 bass track. I won't play the whole thing. I'll just give you a little sample of it here.
Perfect.
But it's an 18-minute track, and it starts off with some hand drums, and it goes into a full drum set. And that was always a challenge to me, as I love drums. But how could you make something that was subtly epic? I wanted something that was like really powerful sounding, like a movie soundtrack, but like still something that you could really vibe to you know, kind of relax and chill to. And so this was one of the first songs. This was early this year. I want to say it was January, maybe. But yeah, so this year, I feel like this was the first track that I really accomplished what I was trying to go for, you know, in that. So
Great.
I'll just play this here real quick.
Yeah. Just a little taste.
Is that volume good?
That's great.
Okay. So, you know, the full drum kit comes in there.
Okay.
And there's these little, you'll hear these little melody parts. So,
Can you see me here? Because did you see what just happened?
Your kitty is there.
The kitty, as soon as the music started, she was running around and she came up.
Okay.
And she's purring.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
She's liking it.
Absolutely.
yeah, so this music I call tonal music. So 528, what I do is I put the 528 tone in there, and then I build that up with the octaves to that healing and kind of set that on top as a lead singer in the band.
Right.
And that plays throughout the music, and you structure the song around the tone. Like the tone is the foundation. So this is why I call it tonal music. And a lot of people will comment and say, I just feel the bass the entire time, or I feel that note resonating. And, you know, we were doing a static dance in Charleston, South Carolina one time, and a guy came up to me dancing and he said, is this the heart chakra? And I had to look. I was like, because we were going through so many songs, and I was like, yes, it is the heart chakra. And he was like, I can feel it right here. You know, he's like, I can feel it. And so, you know, it's like, you know, it's something that I think is definitely, you don't need experience in, and it's something that you can just really take pleasure in, just connecting with those tones.
Yeah, man, it's brilliant, Ian. I mean, we all love it here. You know, it just takes you away, and the rhythm of it is so. It keeps being a little bit off tempo, you know, so it keeps like, pulling you, you know, into the moment, you know, like you expect one thing, it's not there. Oh, okay. And it keeps, pulling you into a deeper space the more you listen to it. That's really, really exciting. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah,
I
isn't
just
that
had a thought there. You know, Ian, when we were chatting last time and we were talking about 369,
Yeah.
when you take 174,
Hmm.
you get 3, you know, for the sutra number.
Yeah.
And then
So,
528, you get 6.
right. So 3,
So,
6, and 9 are throughout the entire
is
solfeggio
there,
scale. But what's
yeah.
also interesting about the scale is that from 174 to 285, as you go up the scale, it's 111 hertz each time it goes up.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
kind of
I didn't know
interesting
that.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
interesting
Sorry, I just worked that one out there, but it's kind of okay.
sounds good. I'm not sure what it means. Can someone explain that a little bit?
Love you guys.
Well, so Tesla said that if you know if you knew 3, 6, and 9 and the significance of that, then you would know you would have the keys to the unlocking the universe. He was saying
Okay.
those are very substantial numbers mathematically to the creation and
Is
defining.
this the golden mean and solfeggio? Sorry,
Well, so
Fibonacci.
yeah,
Fibonacci.
well, not exactly,
All
but
right.
what's interesting is like how I was saying 111 hertz between each of those intervals,
Right.
the notes on the solfeggio. A
Right.
lot of people really view 111 as a significant number, just as they do like 777 or, under that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so everyone has their connection to math in a different way. Like my number is 303. It's something that always shows up for me. Change back at a store. When I say, what time is it? It's 303. Like first hotel room I ever stayed in was room 303. It's really in my life. And it's something that just came out, over and over. And I believe that we all have these numbers that come up for us and they're trying to point us in directions and keep us on our path. And I also believe that our healing, the most powerful healers we know are ourselves, for ourselves. I think our voice and our can be very healing to our, personal biofield and energetic bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. Sarah,
And
sorry. Sarah, did you want to jump in for a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 111 is an angel number, and it's to keep your thoughts positive, keep your mind chatter positive. So, it's about keeping that in your mind going forward. So that's really cool. I never knew that there was 111 between each.
yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Because that is what it is. The 528 is really just a way, and the hertz are just a way to keep your mind still in a crazy world.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant. So, sorry, Ian, carry on.
No, so that was just answering her numbers about, or her questions about the 369. Like,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Well, of course, but sorry, one second. So, Patricia, of course, with your work with sacred geometry and the mandalas, I mean, you're
Yeah, I would
obviously,
also work with 369 a lot.
okay.
So, and the numbers that come up for me, like you, Ian, mine is 711.
Okay.
And it's just comes up everywhere. Every time I give a workshop, every time, it's just phenomenal. So yeah, so I just love it. I love it. I love getting every time I get it, it just lifts me and guides me. So
Yeah.
so it'd be fascinating, yeah, just to see, and particularly when you're measuring angles on certain geometries, you also get the numbers 3, 6, and 9 echoing throughout. When you when you bring it down to the sutra number, the sutra number is like the number. There are only 9 conceptual numbers. Right. I'll actually post, did you ever see the video, The Magic of 369? It's a little YouTube video.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool. That will really give you a sense of
Okay.
6 and 9. So we can post it. Maybe I'll post it on my page after.
Okay.
Great. Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's just, it's a big rabbit hole.
Okay. Good.
Wonder.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So thank you, Patricia. Ian, go ahead. Wherever you want to take it, it's over to you.
Yeah. Well, so what I feel like listening to Smile is moving towards now is trying to empower people. So when I first started doing these groups, I would try to like play instruments and,
Right.
Host these meetings where when I would switch instruments, I would see the different changes in the crowd. If a new sounding instrument or something cool or something that they hadn't heard before, they would open their eyes and kind of look to see what I was playing, and it was like breaking the meditation. And so that kind of bothered me when we were first getting started with this, and I was really kind of racking my brain of like, how can you make money for all the people involved, like the yoga studios and the musicians, and because to pull off some of these tracks live, I would need 7 or 10 musicians to do some of these tracks.
Right.
And so the thoughts were to split those up into concerts, sound healing concerts, and then sound baths. And in the sound bath, I wanted to really focus on the mind-body connection of the individual listener, but also empowering the group through a facilitator who I started seeing that it didn't necessarily have to be a musician, and it didn't necessarily have to be a sound healer. It was someone that we could empower and give an orientation and teach them how to do this, because a lot of these people, energy workers, yoga instructors, holistic center owners, and just holistic practitioners in general, they already know how to interact with people, to be personable, to contact and connect group energy in a setting like that. So that was kind of the eureka moment, was moving forward, was how can you put this experience in more people's hands and make it grow pretty quickly so that more people in mainstreams could see the power potential of healing and sound and music. And so that's really the mission that I started on about 1.5 years ago, was starting this affiliate program. Right now, we're taking our baby steps and moving into that, but we've got 33 groups around the world. We've got 3 or 4 in Australia, and we've got 2 in different parts of the UK. We've got 12 states in the United States that are, using those sound and in their work, and moving forward with
Right.
that mission.
Right.
So it's been really, really amazing to watch and to see that, because each facilitator kind of creates their own unique vision with
Right.
it. We have kind of a guideline to host the groups, but then like a life coach or a hypnotherapist might run it completely different than an energy worker or a yoga studio. So watching it grow and watching people use it in different ways that I never even could see in the beginning, like we have a girl, Merlanda, that's in our group.
Yes.
She started using it and kind of an activist, community and
Really?
bringing group unity. Yeah, she started hosting these events where she brought in people to churches and having conversations about race and equality. And
Right.
And before that, they would play these tones and the music behind
Really?
that. Yeah, and then
Wow.
they started using it in a way where they would invite people in to do artwork and make art and be creative, but they would play the music in the background while everyone was there, and they would just
Right.
see these experiments of like what would take place and what would happen. And so I've watched it grow.
Sorry, wait 1 second.
Yeah.
That is really amazing. That is
Yeah.
really exciting. That's really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so it's been really fascinating for me watching that, watching it grow into those types of areas. And so that's what I think is really amazing, is that you create something and you want it to be used and to help people, and then you watch it grow into these branches that you're like, wow.
Right.
It's pretty cool. So
right. Well, can I just say one thing, Ian? You know, what that demonstrates to me is that there is an essential self that all of us have been disconnected from, that your music then allows us to reconnect with, realign with, you see. I mean, I feel the same for Patricia, your beautiful mandalas, and I'm sure, Sarah, you and I have our own stories about all this as well. But I mean, it's brilliant, my friend, to be able to create a space, particularly, in times of such great discord and confusion and emotional upset, to put on your music and allow people to be, sent to come back to center for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour, whatever, and then have a conversation. I think that's quite a powerful idea.
Yeah, and I was just talking to someone the other day about politics, and with the stuff that's happening right now, everyone, is kind of frustrated or anxious in some way or
Right.
another. um,
Or panic
but
stricken.
yeah, and so it's, I was telling the person that I was talking to on the phone that I used to be into politics and be really, you know,
Sure.
up in arms about stuff.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, I was really just into politics. And so was telling this person that it was a huge part of my evolution, just as me being sick was, a part of me being part of that evolution as well. But
Yes.
when you start focusing on something, I think there is a need to say, this is wrong. We need something different. This is, um, something that everyone sees, and some people speak out and some don't. But as you go down that path and you start following down that rabbit hole, and you start dissecting and seeing the things that are wrong, I think if you stay there too long, you
Right.
become frustrated and angry and bitter, and
Sure.
I definitely found myself in that, because there's so much that I think needs to be changed. But where the real shift was for me was finding that moment where you say, I don't want to be an angry person. I
Right.
want to be happy and live a good life. And
Yes.
so some of the questions I started asking myself in that time period were, what are my positions? In life, everyone has their position. Some people are the activists. Some people are the healers. Some people are the
Yeah.
corporate people who do it enough to learn and bring it back to the nonprofit sector, or to work with a community group, to help them learning that making money is not a bad thing, to,
Right.
to sustain yourself. So you
Right.
see all these things, and I started saying, where's my position? Where are my skill sets best, applied? And when I healed myself from what I went through, and started seeing the profound effects that sound had on my life, and that how easy it was for me to put the music together, and to just sit down and channel these sessions through, more and more and more, I started finding confidence to say, this is my path, this
Right.
is my calling. And so I started seeing that I could make a difference in people's lives. I was speaking earlier today on the phone, and I think we've worked with 6 cancer victims in this last year that are now cancer free. We've
Wow.
worked with
Wow.
2 AIDS patients, and we also had 2 people that were addicted to drugs, and
Right.
all those people are doing really well now. And so when you see
Beautiful.
that on a personal level, and then you see it to people that you're working with, it really gains confidence, where you can say,
Yeah.
I feel really good that I can contribute something and moving forward in my way, and this is my position,
Yeah.
And so I just, would want to encourage everyone to find that, to really
Yeah.
search
Yeah.
for, what is my position and how can I contribute,
Right. Right. Well, that's gorgeous, and I just feel like probably for all of us project transmission people here, and others that hopefully will listen to this call later, that, I mean, I just feel very privileged to be working with someone who has your depth of understanding and your breadth of vision. The two of those things together are just really, what get me going, frankly, to be a part of someone's work that is so powerful and comes from such a tremendous place of integrity, and I'm not surprised, but I'm truly grateful and overwhelmed that, you're beginning to have such a powerful impact. And I know we talked, yesterday, I think, when we decided to do all this, and you said that there are many other wonderful possibilities coming in the future. So, yeah, the sky is really the limit. So it's great to be a part of this journey here with you. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Can we talk about project transmissions now?
Yes,
I think that
please.
would be a good
Yeah.
good segue into
Yeah,
that.
please.
Yeah. So the it's really interesting that that project was given birth through that phone call with you. That really, that whole thing, I reached out to you and we started talking. I just really felt like you and I had a lot in common and could connect with our networks of people. And you know, what's interesting is in that conversation, that's really the moment that Project Transmission was like fully realized. And so the next, you know, 2 weeks, we went through, you know, picking people that were different energies, different types of energy work, and, you know, hypnotherapists and energy workers and life coaches and channelers and, you know, sound healers. And, you know, I just started seeing that there was a real need, that YouTube has been really been cracking down on copyrighted music, you know, and a lot of places were cracking down on that type of, you know, video submission. So I started thinking, you know, how can we do a win-win situation where the group can be brought together and can find that music and be able to use it in a way that, you know, suits them, and it's frequency minded, and, you know, they can pass that on to their listeners. You know, that it helps my music find new audiences and new networks of people to, you know, play in that area. And then also the back end of it, which was connecting these groups of people across the world with their networks, and really start finding benefit and kind of that co-op community grassroots effort of connection that really helped people find new families, new tribes, new support for their work. And so, you know, this is the first social experiment, I guess, you know, with the Project Transmissions. But you know, I really see that in September we'll get rolling, you know, and I think it's going to be really beneficial. We've already had some people purchase CDs from some of the meditations that have gone through, and we have had people getting some custom tracks and some different readings. And I've definitely seen inside the group, you know, the different interactions leading into, you know, more things like this, you know, where we're interacting and connecting with each other. So I'm really happy. I'm really excited to see at the end of October, you know, we're doing this for that 3 months, the August, September, October. So at the end of October, it'll be really interesting to see what the, you know, final count was for all of that, you know, together. So,
yeah, brilliant. Beautiful. Yeah. Does anyone else here want to jump in and say anything about that? No, you're all chilled out?
Maybe one question, Ian, would be, say if I put the meditations and that up on YouTube, are they still good after October?
Well, the August, September, October was going to be the moments that those were able to be used, you know, like the license for that. But I'm sure we can figure something out.
Good.
Yeah, Ian's pretty flexible that way. Bless him. Yes. Sarah, do you want to say anything? Sarah, do you have anything you want to say, hon?
No, I didn't even think of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, yeah, I'm definitely one of those that when I'm doing all these video things, which I do every day at this point now, you know, and where the copyright has nipped me, you know, in the bud a few times, and it happened again actually on the eclipse. I was telling you I needed a new computer, which I got, and I needed some audio fix on it, which I did, and now I have my speaker, so now I can do listening to Smile in good order. But yeah, I did one on the eclipse, and my 90-minute prayer meditation, you know, thing disappeared because they weren't happy with the copyright. So on behalf of all of us doing this work here, it's great that you're helping us in this powerful way. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys too. It's been really a lot of fun. I think that's probably my favorite part, is watching all the different people interact. You know, Georgia from Australia.
Right.
You know, everyone that's spoke with her has had really great
Yes.
things to say, and everyone's been commenting on Patricia's artwork, and we've had people with Sarah. Sarah is the one that everyone's been commenting like, man, she's got so much energy, she's on fire. So it's like, so it's really infectious to other people, watching all these different videos. And I think we're all doing things differently, so we can all learn something from each other. And I think that's just a really cool thing
Yeah.
that this
Yeah.
provides.
Brilliant. I also want to, yes, I've connected with Georgia. She's great. And I also want to, and Ingrid, of course, is amazing. I think she's one of the most gifted healers I've ever worked with. She's
really tapped in.
Yeah, truly, truly. And then Anthony has done some great video messages. I love his energy. He's beautiful. And Marlanda, is just kicking off the roof. Man, she's a spiritual warrior of high order. That woman, So it's a great group energy here. Yeah. Brilliant.
It's exciting.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, do we want to close out with a little music? And
sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, whatever you want.
Well, you guys tell me. Do you want me to play the ukulele or the guitar? Which one do you, or a flute? We have this chakra flute. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, do that one. Do that one.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So this is different. This is a custom-made flute from a guy in New Mexico. His name's Ron, and he does a lot of stuff with shamans. But he made this up. This is a 528 flute, so it's custom made. And then he put all these really cool designs on it. If you can see, do you see that?
Yeah.
And there's like a little infinity sign right there.
Infinity, yeah.
Yeah, and then each group is represented. That's got the red down here. But it's really a pretty flute, but it sounds really different. So I'll just play a little bit. So it's really interesting because once you hit these higher two notes up here, you have to really blow a little harder. So it's pretty though. You can play it with a lot of the tracks.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then so this is my tribal ukulele here. You see this?
I like it.
Is it Maori?
Cool.
I'm not sure. So I got this actually at a pawn shop, and I just really, really liked it.
It looks very Maori to me.
I love it. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have this in kind of a Chinese tuning, and so these are the kind of things I like to do to add this to different tracks, this kind of stuff. So I'll just play this. So it's like Chinese blues, I guess.
Okay, great.
I don't know. So it's like
wonderful. That is awesome. That is awesome. Bravo. Wow.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I really like, people who really are into the tuning and the different sacred tones 444. So standard tune is in 440 tuning.
Right.
And so the solfeggio is in 444 and the Schumann is in 432. So you're either tuning down or tuning up.
Okay.
And so but true authentic vibrations like cycles per second, the guitars and the ukuleles, they can't hit those frequencies in those tunings. It's almost there, but not really. So what I really like is it's still beauty and still pretty. So I like to really fatten songs up with true authentic 528 or the tones, and then sometimes you'll put these little dressings over top of it to have some melody and they're very, very close, but they're not exactly. But it's really nice to add a different flavor every now and then, have some different melodies that are in there. So it's really cool. It's fun to play with different tunings and different, to kind of spice it up a little every once in a while.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Like the best meetings of my life, guys. I had a headache when I started this meeting, and now I don't have one anymore.
Good, honey. Good. Fantastic. Yeah.
Guys.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I think we need to be listening to your music every day just to cope with the wild world we're living in, let alone to raise our vibration and to access the genius that's flowing through everything you're doing, my friend. It's really hugely inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'm glad Patricia knows what you're talking about, because I'm just here like at a foreign movie going, okay. you know.
Well, so the one thing I want to say is I think that a lot of people, so, we do these events and we do these sound baths, but I have like the table and like personal sessions, but I can also do this remotely. And to me, it's one of my favorite things to do, because a lot of the people that do that are people that are like really newbies and first timers. And I just tell them all you need is a decent set of headphones, to get started.
Right.
And we do these sessions where they'll call in for 30 minutes and we'll kind of do talk therapy. They'll talk out a lot of the things that they're having issues with and things that they want to, resolve with the sound. And so I'll explain to them how these things line up with chakras, or there's different frequencies for muscle groups or organs, or, we go through and we basically talk sound a little bit. It's not like they have to grasp the full concept, but really it's about empowering the individual so that in moving forward, all they really need to do is go within, a little bit of breath work, little bit of intention setting, and then listen to this music on the headphones. And I would say 98% of the people that do that, they call and they're just really like beside themselves, just believing that this really worked. It just seems so easy. How could it work that way? And I think what the music does is the music's not actually doing it. It's facilitating this environment so that they can do it themselves. And I think that that's where the empowerment comes from. Is I talk to them a lot, like, are you ready to live differently? Do you want to be healed? Are you ready to move forward? And we just talk, and it's like a friend. It's just like I'm encouraging and supporting, and that's what the music is. And it's something they download, they listen to, and it's a support and encouragement, and really the individual doing the work,
Yeah.
So that's what I like most, I think, is it's just really neat to see the shock on people's faces just from putting on headphones. And even in our group, Georgia was saying that she listened to some of the music and she really liked it, but when she put on headphones, she saw this really dramatic change and how powerful it was to her.
Right.
So yeah, it's just something that, especially the binaurals, the binaural beats, it's really experienced better with headphones. But yeah, so those sessions, I book through my website, and that's something that people can do from anywhere. So
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Great.
Our work is quite similar, I think.
Go on, Patricia. Talk a bit.
Yeah, just the work is quite similar. I think it's like you're coming into resonance with the truth. It's like the the way you come into sympathetic resonance with the truth when you're dealing with this. And I suppose what I do is a visualization of that same thing. Yeah.
That's why we need to start combining some services like visual and the sound. Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. It'd be very cool.
Brilliant. Yeah. No, it's so exciting, isn't it? I mean, for me, in my channeling work, my guides have been talking for a long time about enlightened group consciousness, and they've said very much, that this is the future of the planet. And this is honestly, Brother Ian, when we had that conversation that's led to moments like this, that was the first time, and this now it's just continuing to grow and evolve. It's wonderful. But that was the first time that I could really recall, being connected to somebody else who had the same vision, and then through all these wonderful meetings with everyone, we're all on this vibration, which is that we do our own growth and healing and work and evolving, and then we hold that space for our clients and friends in the world.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's interesting. One time someone said, "Why did you get sick?" And, it's funny. Like, I don't really know why. The thing that's funny about it is, like, I try to think, like, what really happened. I can make these, like, guesses as to what that was. But, it's just interesting because I know that it happened and changed my trajectory in life dramatically. And it also, a lot of the people who come to me are coming to me with things that I went through. And so it's like you get this tidbit of information that you learn in healing yourself, and then you're now applying it to who the universe is providing you to, they're saying, all right, you did that. Now we need you to help, all these other people, find their part of their healing, and for me, it was the Bruce Liptons, Joe Dispenzas, Alan Watts, Buckminster Fuller, all of these guys, Tesla, and, just they brought my healing. It was from reading and watching documentaries that really inspired me to, go down that path. And so it's really humbling and a great honor to be a part of, like, helping others to awaken to themselves, to move into their power. So and I'm really lucky that I have groups of people like you and friends, and a great girlfriend that everyone tells me the truth and speaks to me, and it supports me and encourages me in growing. And so it's just I'm really fortunate and blessed in that way.
Bless you. Bless you. Well, I feel like I just want to say this as well, for everyone here, and that it feels like there's divine timing about all of this, that we have all had to really establish that connection to the truth, as you said, Patricia, in our own way and in our own hearts, and, get over, our own initiations, the shaman's death, the wounded healer, all those, physician heal thyself, all those things. And then, as you say, then we can start sharing with each other. And I also feel like you're saying here with the music, the art, the channeling, the poetry, the energy work, that just being able to come together like this truly and hold the space with each other and share what's in our hearts and feel heard, and that there's just a tremendous building of momentum that we're all beginning to be a part of, to prepare for these energies to get out in the world in a much bigger way. I feel that very strongly. We all do.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because healers and creatives are almost identical, and especially in the way that society tries to sell our worth to us.
Right.
And, like, I've been a part of the starving artist communities growing up. I've been a musician, a poet, an artist, visual artist. I've worked in art galleries. I've worked with municipalities doing concerts and, hosting events. I've worked in the nonprofit sector and, performing arts organizations. And I watch the way people try to tell musicians they have to give their music away for free. I watch how they tell artists they're not worth, this, that, and the other. And it's the same with healing. All of this stuff, creativity and spirituality, are very, very similar. And the channelers are pulling in these gifts just as the guitar player or the beat maker or, the classical musician, all of us are channeling and tapping into something that not everyone is able to do. It's something that is a special gift, and a lot of society up to this point has tried to sell us on, you have to give it away for free, or what you're asking is, you're not going to get, that kind of thing. But no one second guesses Starbucks prices or Walmart or any of that. And I think that if we start finding our own confidence in our worth and start moving into that, you know, the universe and society will respond accordingly. And
Yes.
you know, it's the biggest thing that I always tell people is, look at society. The people who make the biggest difference are creatives. And you know, I would say spiritual people are creatives and creatives are creatives, but people who create, and what I mean by that is fashion, architecture, graphic design, music, movies, films, you know, poetry, dance. You know, it's endless how much these things inspire the people who are not in those fields, and how much it sets the tone for the world. Like most people would say, America sets the tone for the world in entertainment, right?
Yeah.
But it happens that way because you know, slowly over time, that was used, in my opinion, into manipulating tone. And you know, you look at propaganda from war times. It's art. It's an art. It's films. It's movies. It's posters. It's things that influence people. And so if you take it to the other side of it, like the positive side, all of the things that are really moving forward in the world now are from these positive movements of art, creativity, and healing, spiritual, which I still would consider creative, you know?
Sure.
And so I just wish that all of us could start banding together, supporting each other, and standing in our worth, you know, not doing things for free. You know, I know that there's a time and place for it, but as far as like, there should be an energy exchange, compensation for what we're doing, just like everyone else. And
You get no
shouldn't be
argument for me,
second
my friend.
guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, no
Yeah.
second guessing or you know,
Right.
haggling or you
Right.
know,
Right.
negotiation. It should be, this is
Exposure.
what I'm worth. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I've seen, you know, with my company is definitely a big believer in building value. I'm not just saying come out and do some, you know, I'm worth $10
Sure.
million, but you know, I'm definitely great in that belief of building value. But it's just, I think I've had people push me and pull me and say, hey, it's time to go to the next level. And I think because of having support groups like that, it's really, really a huge bonus. And groups like what we're talking about
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Project Transmissions. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree, don't you, Patricia?
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm a member, I don't know if you know a group called Bite the Biscuit.
Mm-mm.
It's a primarily Irish group, but it's a group of creatives, but anybody from the world can join.
Yeah.
But it is all about that empowering artists, not to be working for free unless, you know, there's criteria that maybe you do want to work for free or it benefits you or you want to give something. But in the main, that people, you know, get so many requests. I know, you know, as an artist, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, gosh, 60% are asking you to work for free.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And I'll share a great video. There's, I don't know
Yeah.
if you know them, Lou, you know Foil Arms and Hogs, the Irish comedians?
no.
They do a great skit on it, on the whole thing about exposure, but I'll share it after anyway.
Okay, great. Okay, lovely.
Okay, like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm
if you
excited.
join that group, it's brilliant. And Tara, who heads it up, I organised TEDx in Tala here in Dublin.
Right.
I had her come speak, so I can share that TED talk as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
lovely.
Cool.
Lovely. Wonderful.
Would you mind to share those in the Project Transmissions group? So we
Sure,
can see that?
absolutely.
Okay, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's what part of this is definitely we're a support group, and Ian, you're the head of the class in terms of having successfully managed to bridge the gap between the two worlds. You know, we all have things to give to each other and to receive and to learn from each other. But I feel like, you know, that's certainly the answered prayer that you've been to me already. You know, is just your level of clarity and confidence about you know, bringing these gifts out to the world, and you've recognized all of us, which is a great compliment. And so you're inviting us to step into this vibration that you have, you know, attained. And I'm going, yeah, that's fine. I'm for that. Sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Patricia
Well,
too. Now that she's a free woman and can make her own.
Yeah, I have 3 more weeks to work.
Oh well, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah, perfect.
It is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, can I just say one other thing here? My teacher that I've studied with for 30 years is this spirit guide named Lazarus, and they give us a focus for each energy for each year. and their focus for this year is called valuation. And it's exactly what we're talking about, which is, what do we value and what do we appreciate and what are we worth, and, these kinds of things. So, yeah, we're all definitely taking a big workshop on the planet right now about values, and learning to share those with each other.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. Brilliant. Well, that feels really solid to me. Would you like to leave us with one more musical offering and we can kind of wrap it up?
Sure. Why don't we do, let me see if I can get this down here. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So I'll do the, this guitar. This is my Willie Nelson guitar.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is off of one of my CDs from last year, but it was just one of my favorite guitar parts that I've ever, been a part of creating. So
great.
I don't want to play too long.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, you've whet my appetite for much more, my friend. This was a feast for me. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, thanks for
you.
letting me, for having me, you guys.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Patricia, thank you for being.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Is
put
Sarah
you in the
still
hot
there?
seat next time.
I don't think so. Is she? Is Sarah still here?
No, Sarah's gone. She
Okay.
left. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
well done, everyone. Thank you.
That was
Perfect.
brilliant,
Yeah.
Dean. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks,
Great.
guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So peace and
share all
blessing.
those links. There you go.
Yeah, share all those links.
Yeah.
We will. And I'll record this and I'll send you both the link.
Okay.
Cool.
This is
All right.
recorded. I'll send you the link for this. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Well done.
you,
Thank you.
man.
Peace and
you.
blessings. Namaste.
Okay. You guys have a good night.
Thanks, you too. Well done.
Okay.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks,
Bye.
Patricia.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.